All right, folks, we're live. We're live. We're on Facebook. It's QAC TV. We're with the lovely commissioners. We're doing Ask the Commissioner. We're at Nana Maria's, and this is the place to be tonight, right, everyone? Right. The millions of people from Queen Anne's County that came out for Ask the Commissioner at Nana Maria's. That's two. I have a very strict instructions to get Nana Maria's out at least 10 times tonight. So we're with Commissioner Jack Wilson, and we're with Commissioner
Phil Dumanel,
who is a star, a straight star. Because we've been with Jack before, but we haven't had Phil on. But we have to do some house cleaning, Phil. I'm sorry.
Very good.
So we really have to. Last time we had some very, very important questions that were not addressed by Jack Wilson.
Armageddon.
His favorite movie, folks, is Armageddon. That was a question that was asked last time. He wasn't ready. So we're here for Ask the Commissioner. We have a whole bunch of topics that we're going to talk about tonight. But one that's very important is we're going to be talking about broadband in North County. And that's going to be our focus for a little bit. And then we're going to talk to everyone that's in the audience, people that are on Facebook, and people that have already submitted questions through email about anything that you want to know about. So it's not just about broadband in North County. Ask any question you want. It's not too late. You can still submit a question in Facebook right now. Put it in the comments, and we'll get to it. We'll make sure that we get your question asked to our lovely commissioners tonight. And we're going to have a little bit of fun. So when I come in and ask any questions, we're going to have two rules. You can't touch the mic, and it has to be a question. That's it.
No, there's three, actually. You can't touch Bruce.
Well, they can touch it. I mean, it's
Well,
fine.
you're married now, so it depends on who touches you, right?
That's right. Yeah, I'm married now, so men only. That's weird. I shouldn't. Nana Maria's, everyone. Welcome to Nana Maria's. So we're
7.
Yeah. All right, I'm getting there. So we're going to get started with just a brief discussion about broadband in North County. Then we're going to get to questions, and we're going to talk a little bit about how that's going to work when we get there. But please, first, guys, want to take it away?
So let me do my disclaimer.
Sure.
Okay. So the fortunate thing for the folks of Queen Anne's County is that the previous set of commissioners that included Jack Wilson worked diligently in trying to get some connectivity here in Queen Anne's County. It didn't pan out exactly the way that they'd liked it, but the expert, without a doubt, and is Jack for sure. Again, as Bruce had mentioned, I'm here for any other questions, but as far as the broadband subject matter, Jack is our guy. And we're lucky.
That's a lot of pressure, Phil. I don't know about expert, but
he's our guy.
Phil's right, though. The last set of commissioners, we did take it very seriously about getting the county, not just North County, but the entire county connected, and found it to be probably one of the biggest challenges we faced that 4 years, and probably will be this 4 years, and honestly for the next probably 20 years, not only here in Queen Anne's County but across the country. We're in a time where I guess to put it in terms of what we're facing is that technology has outpaced infrastructure, and that puts everybody kind of behind the curve. Here in Queen Anne's County, for years, we could get internet through dial-up via your old copper phone lines through Verizon. You could get DSL, and you had all that. But that was literally, and I know people are going to kind of shake their head, that was in 2008. We're in 2019. That's only 11 years, and now we have 1 gigabit speeds. The speeds back in 2007, 2008 were like 750 kilobytes per second. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's just crazy the amount that the technology is pushing. And sadly, our infrastructure has never and probably won't be able to for the next 10 years catch up to that. So we looked at it here at Queen Anne's County as commissioners, specifically North County, because we do have a lot of dead zones up here in North County. If you don't have a cell phone with decent cell service, you can't even use a hotspot. And that puts a lot of people at a disadvantage because there's so many things that rely on the internet now. It's not just a luxury being able to have data transfer and that kind of thing. It's every part of life is associated with the internet and data. Schools, your media, how people get their news, everything now kind of revolves around how you get data. So the biggest challenge that we all have is, do we stay where we're at and hope it comes to us, or do we move? So how is that going to change communities? And that's why we really have focused on the fact that we need to do something here, and we need to do it now. We can't wait 10 years. We can't wait for the technology to come to us. So what we've done is, in the last year of the previous commission, we formed a broadband advisory commission, to take a look at the whole county. Not only North County, where we have a lot of underserved and unserved areas, but the county as a whole, because one of the things that people aren't realizing is the fact that, yes, right now, if you live on Kent Island, hey, I got great internet service. I'm fat, dumb, and happy with all this nice internet. But as that technology changes and the demand changes, so does the requirements for the electronics to drive that internet. So 5 years from now, what they're seeing on Kent Island as being great internet will be archaic, just like computers are. You know, we watch computers change every day, and that's kind of what we're up against. So we're kind of taking a two-pronged approach here in the county. The first one is we want to really concentrate on the unserved and underserved areas, find ways to get internet, and by internet I mean broadband internet, which by definition is 25 megabits per second download, 3 megabits per second upload. That's reliable, high-speed broadband, which your phone, on this average, all you people have LTE phones, they average about 6 megabits per second download and 1.5 megabits per second upload. So you see how far away we are just with a cell phone. So that's the first approach, is get the unserved and underserved.
You see why Jack's here this evening, right, everybody?
The second approach is to look at a long-term plan to make sure that Queen Anne's County, and regardless of what every other county in the state does, but stay ahead of the curve. Make sure that we're always doing the upgrades to keep our technology so that we can go with whatever the expanding technology is. And, you know, it's tough. You go back to 1936 when Franklin Delano Roosevelt signed the Rural Electrical Bill into effect, which was basically, and for those that don't know it, that was the first time they extended electric into rural areas, just like Queen Anne's County here. And it took a public-private partnership to get that done. And we really feel, and I know my fellow commissioners, we've had these conversations, we feel that's what it's going to take here in Queen Anne's County. So for people to dig in and say, well, we shouldn't be spending tax dollars to do this, I challenge them on that, because I believe that as much as electric was a utility and a part of basic everyday life, internet and connectivity is the same thing. So I think it's going to require the same approach with a public-private partnership to get us there. So for those that want to debate whether we should be spending tax dollars, I would certainly take them on that. So, Bruce?
Good job, good job. So a couple of questions were actually asked to our email about what exactly is the North County and where are we talking about this area being affected?
Yeah, I would say when we look at North County, honestly, we typically look from the split north. So from Queenstown north to Millington, over to Chester Harbor, which is just to our back this way, and over to Queen Anne. That typically is what encompasses North County. So the split pretty much splits North and South County.
Do we have a lot of people from North County here today? Yeah. So does this affect you directly?
Yes.
Yeah. So we need to make that happen, right? Yes. Yeah, okay. So we had one question that we're going to start with just because it directly ties right in, and that is from Dino Lamana. It was actually sent to us through email, and he wants to know, when are we ever going to plan to open true competition to Atlantic Broadband?
No, it's ironic because we actually had at our last commissioners meeting, Atlantic Broadband came and did a state of the county presentation to us, and it was a good presentation. I mean, Jack, you'd agree?
Yeah.
They addressed some of the issues and what their plans are moving forward. But I think the fair way to answer the question is who else wants to come here and challenge them? So
Yeah.
it'd be nice if they didn't have this monopoly, and that there was other entities that would come in and challenge them. But part of the problem is we just don't have the density that we need in order to justify somebody else coming in as well.
Yeah, I agree. The outlying areas have never really been the infrastructure, the in-ground infrastructure, overhead infrastructure, whatever you want to call it, has really never been put in place. So it's very difficult for an upstart to come in and say, okay, we're going to tackle this part of the county and we're going to put you want to wave hi? To get that in, and it's a lot of money. It's basically for fiber to the home, and fiber in general is about $8 a foot to trench. And if you look at competition in sheer terms, we have wireless companies out, even in North County, that are trying to make a dent in terms of service. But when you look at take rates, like Phil was saying, the take rates are very hard to justify spending $8 per foot to put it in when you may only affect 20 people. And again, that's where I think you have to go with the public-private partnership, because you got to kind of kickstart that and get it moving. And competition will come with when the infrastructure's in place. You will see other providers if they don't have to spend the capital dollars to get the hardwire there.
And that's basically what's keeping them away, is the initial outlay of money that they have to put up in order to get the infrastructure in place. So that's a role that the commissioners would like to be taking. And then once that stuff's in place, then we can have some folks that want to come and do business in our county.
Perfect. So we're outside of Nana Maria's.
That's it.
Yeah, doing questions. We're having a good time, and we're now going to open it up to anyone that wants to ask questions, anyone that wants to do questions on Facebook. I want to make it clear that that question from Dino Lamana was also partnered with a very long statement, but we didn't read the long statement because it's only questions. So please, if you want to make a long statement, you're free to write a letter to these gentlemen, or you're free to come and talk to them some other time. But tonight we're doing questions only.
And
So
we would
please.
welcome Dino coming to a commissioner meeting, and I mean, we have public comment, and we would take his comments. Absolutely.
Yes, of course. But tonight's questions.
I've got one.
Sure, come on over.
Wait a minute. I've got a little one here.
So I'll come to you.
Okay. I've got one.
Yes.
I have a farmer back here
Okay.
who wants, on 500 acres, wants to put solar panels on it. What do you feel about it?
You were talking about the BB Knight property.
I am indeed.
Yes. So that property, well, actually, to be honest with you, we'll do the whole solar backdrop. The solar, the commissioners here in Queen Anne's County, we actually looked at solar 2.5 years ago when we had a property right here in Churchill on 405 that was scheduled for solar, which I will announce, by the way, on TV that I got official notice today that that project has been officially canceled. Casper Solar has pulled out from the project. So that's what we did about it. And what we looked at is we're very limited in what we can do physically as commissioners, because we can't walk up to the farmer and or the solar company and say, you can't put that there. The state of Maryland controls where and how solar can be put in the state of Maryland. We as commissioners can define the zoning and how it can look when it's done and how it can function within the county. And that's where we're limited. And we, as Queen Anne's County, I will let you know, we've been at the forefront in the state of Maryland. A lot of counties are adopting what we've done. We actually imposed a personal property tax on the solar to not only affect what the county will make out of it when it's all said and done, if we can. And secondly, we put zoning in where it has to be covered with the setbacks. They have to have trees and all that. So we've done what we can do here at the commissioner level. What you can do as a local citizen, if you do not like the solar there, is on the 18th of June, there is a hearing at Churchill Elementary. You show up and speak, because I will tell you, I was at the first one. Guess how many citizens spoke out against it? 0. So if you want to be heard, you want to be there on June 18th at 6:30 and speak out against it. No one spoke out against it. So that tells the judge from the state of Maryland, well, nobody's against it. So I recommend that. Now, the hearing when I did for Casper Solar, we had 45 people speak against the project, and we see what the result was.
Well, this
So
is Casper Solar who's doing that here.
no, that's bluegrass.
That's right.
Yes.
You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your question.
Thank you.
All right, before we get to any more, real quick, why Nana Maria's?
It's funny because I met
Why
Rich.
not?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I met Rich up here. Being from North County, we don't have a whole lot of places to eat. And actually, when it was still kind of up here, not a lot of places were opened up. We've really seen some places open up here along the 213 corridor. And Rich took this over. It was called Nana Maria's. Rich is a former PG County police officer, retired. And we met him in here one day when he was actually in the process of buying the place. And got to talking to him. Great guy. He comes here with a great attitude. He's lived here for 14 years, 15 years, used to commute to be a police officer across the bridge. And, you know, I had to pick a place that's outdoors, which here we are, that will attract people. Obviously, the cars in the parking lot say people come here, so this was the obvious choice.
And the food's amazing.
And the food's amazing.
Yes.
Nana Maria's, now we're at
Yes.
10.
And I-
Recognized in several magazines.
Yes.
Several
There was a
magazines,
great
yeah.
article that came out about this location, and the food critic just gave rave reviews. So,
Good Stromboli.
and
I just had it.
right. Would it be bad if I said the beer's cold? beer's cold.
Which is very important.
Yes, beer's cold.
It is very important. All right, we have a question? All right, hold on. Here we go.
Scott McGlash in Churchill, and I understand that there's fiber optic that runs the entire length of 213, but as a citizen, I can't access it. Only government, municipality, those type of people. Why? Is that true? And B, why can't the citizen get access to that service?
That is in fact true. It's there is a state fiber system that runs up to actually runs up most of 301, and there's a duplicate on 213, which is the Maryland Broadband Co-op, which is actually accessible by Atlantic Broadband, and I can't really divulge a whole lot on it, but there are some other people that are looking at utilizing that now to extend broadband up here, but. I went through the whole thing with FTS, and we thought we were going to have fiber in the ground to every home in the county and all that, and it was very disappointing, and spent 2 weeks, licking my wounds on that one. So I don't want to divulge a whole lot now, but there are things in the works where people are going to start utilizing that. Because the Maryland Broadband Co-op, just a history of it, it was put in so that you could extend a fiber backbone out to the rural areas, and then individual companies could come in, tap off of it, utilize that to then extend out for the last mile to the homes, farms, and things like that. Unfortunately, there was money granted by the federal government back in around 2011, 2012 to the tune of about $600 million that was given to the big boys, I call them, your Comcast, your Verizons, and all that. And they had the option, and it was called the Rural Broadband Initiative back then. They had the option of spending that money to extend into the rural areas or basically do what they want. And what they chose to do, and I guess if you're in business you have to make hard decisions, they chose to overbuild their existing networks to increase the service on the back end so they could charge more and recoup their money bigger, get their ROI down. And ultimately, let's face it, if you come out here, your return on investment is not going to match what it is if you go to Baltimore City and you have 100,000 people signing up. But to answer your question, yes, it is up here. It is available. But there is a second one that the county government is on that is not available to the private citizens. And that was one of the things that came up in the state task force that I served on was why isn't it? And the answer at the end of the day was, honestly, if you look at the ransomware incident in Baltimore City, I think that kind of dictates why it's not. They don't want outside people being able to get on some of these municipal networks, hold them hostage, and that kind of thing. So,
And I'm correct saying, Jack, that last mile has always been the issue.
Absolutely.
Here in the county is that last mile.
Because of the distances, yeah.
Just a follow-up on that. I currently use a hotspot, 4G. Now, I think 5G is not going to even be an issue or available in the rural areas, only in the cities. But I've got a 4G hotspot, and it works great. But the problem is Verizon throttles that. Now, is there any influence or anything you can do to eliminate them throttling the hotspot?
I would think that's a federal. I would, Scotty. Actually, I would think that's something that would have to come from the federal level because that's nationwide. That's not just Queen Anne's County where that happens. I mean, that's Verizon, Comcast, or whoever, T-Mobile, whoever has them. That's nationwide. I would think that was something that the Fed should do because I'm with you. It's 15 gigabytes. They take you down to 650 kbps, and it's like it just goes from you're watching a movie. Next thing you know, all you see is little figures, and then you get the circle of death. And so, I mean, that would be something that we should talk to Congressman Harris about maybe, and see if they can initiate something over on Capitol Hill to do something about it because that's where it comes from.
Thank you.
Yes. All right.
My name is Vijay Kumar, and we live actually near Queenstown, but not in Queenstown. So kind of Queenstown, Centerville. So we actually belong to the county. 6 months ago, I saw them laying lines on Route 18 between Queenstown and Centerville, fiber optic lines on the poles. Mm-hmm. But our house is about half a mile from the road in a rural area. But we don't, as I said, don't belong to Queenstown. What's the ways we are going to get, or how are you going to deal with this places where it is away from the main road? And unfortunately, we all have underground utilities. Mm-hmm. Right now, we have a Verizon landline, copper line, running underground to us, but it's a half a mile from Route 18, our house.
So let me ask you a question, and I.
Follow up on that.
Yeah.
I
live with him.
Well, then, yes, you can follow up on that.
You have every
Lucky
right.
him.
You are allowed to.
So, about a year and a half ago, my son sent me an article. I can't remember what newspaper it was in, but it stated that you people had a plan to deliver the broadband to houses, and it was going to be a flat fee for.
When you say you people, you're talking about the commissioners?
I'm
Okay.
talking about the county. The
Would that
county.
have been in your last administration?
Yeah, I think that's what you
County had a plan, and it was going to be able to send the lines down, as long as it was under a mile, and it was going to be a flat fee of like
$400?
Yes.
That was
What is the status of that?
That's the FTS that I was speaking of, that in the
Collapsed.
11th hour, right, the county, we signed and we committed to the contract to get that done. In the 11th hour, FTS, the company that we had committed to, they pulled out because they couldn't capitalize their portion of the project. It was a $30 million project. The county was putting up $6.25 million to run fiber to the county buildings and locations throughout the county. And then the byproduct of that was you were going to pass all these neighborhoods and homes, and then they were going to, as their part, extend it into those areas to provide the last mile service. And then there was a company out of Chestertown called Think Big who was going to be the ISP, and they were going to do that last mile with the $400 hookup. So that wraps you up to where it was. 11th hour, all fell apart, and then we went back to square one. That's when we established a Broadband Advisory Commission, who is now, I give them a lot of credit. They're working very hard. They're doing a kind of look back at where we were, where we are, and where we need to be. They're doing a great job. It's a mixture of people who come from different backgrounds. And for the most part, I think only 3 of them have internet in the county that works, so they're motivated. We're utilizing them right now as to go out and find possible solutions. I think we just okayed the RFP for the to do a feasibility study to find out what will work in Queen Anne's County. Will wireless work? Do you need fiber backbone to wireless as a short-term fix, and then look at that long-term solution?
Well, Queenstown is like the Bermuda Triangle of signals. Things just drop. Things are gone.
I'm going to have to remember that, Bruce. Make a note of that. Don't go to Queenstown.
That's where you're going to send me now.
You're from Queenstown, right?
No, close. Close.
Are you in the triangle?
I'm on the edge of the triangle.
There you go.
All right, great. Remember, if you're watching at home, if you're on face,
Face.
Donna Maria.
Nana Maria's, everyone. If you're on Facebook, please send us your questions so we can get them to the commissioners. Anybody else have a question right now? I'm going to go to my notepad. All right, you've been talking a long time, so I'm going to give you a little bit of a break.
Good.
This one's just for you, Commissioner Dumino.
So I'm going to go get a beer. I'll be back.
Yeah. This might take a while. You ready?
Fire away.
If a player pinch hits for a batter in the middle of an at-bat with 2 strikes and strikes out, the at-bat and the strikeout are credited to who?
The pitcher.
Was
Could you rephrase?
Okay.
No, don't rephrase it. No, on a serious. Read the question
All
again.
right. If
I
a
thought
player,
you were just
it's
messing
okay.
with
No,
me.
I wasn't. It's all right. If a player pinch hits for a batter in the middle of an at-bat with 2 strikes and strikes out, the at-bat and the strikeout are credited to who?
Well, first of all, you can't pitch hit for a batter in the middle of his batting.
Let's say he gets hurt.
An injury. There's
was a lot easier.
yeah. So if there's an injury, if he's injured, you go to the next batter in the lineup.
So you wouldn't finish the at-bat?
No. If he can't finish the at bat, you just go to the next batter. And I would think that, and I'd have to check the rule book, but I think that if he can't finish his at bat because he's injured. Well, how was he injured? If he was hit by a pitch, if he's hit by a pitch,
I told
award him
you
the
had
base.
time to go.
If he's hit by a pitch, you award him the base, and then you can get a pitch runner for him.
All right.
But I don't think
we're
anybody
going
gets
to talk after
credit
this.
for the out.
We're going to talk after. We'll talk about Rule 10.
He's going to stop watching.
15B.
You got to get off ESPN. You need to refocus.
It was either
first
that-
of all,
Focus.
so first of all, I know who's sending this question in, and I'll get him for this.
Yeah, well, I'll be honest. That was actually me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found it for you.
Okay.
Rule 10.15B. in the rule
Okay,
book.
so is that NFHS Fed rules or is that OSB rules?
Look, man.
OBR.
You're way over my head. I don't know what I'm doing up here. I just wanted to talk to you about baseball for like 10 seconds. That's all I wanted. Okay, I want to talk about something that you guys can help me out with. I know they're doing some work on the stadiums for both schools. Could you guys fill us in on what that is looking like or what's going on?
So sure. Our goal was obviously to start in the middle of May, but I think the graduating classes being able to graduate outside was probably more important. So we stayed the project for a couple of weeks. So the process has started on June 1st, as far as the process is exactly where we are, I think our county administrator, Todd Mons, is probably the better person to ask. But we're going to have turf fields at both our high schools, which is very, very exciting. And the nice thing about it is the fact that not only the high school is going to get to use it, but our youth clubs in the summertime are going to be able to use the fields as well. So it isn't just for the high schools, it's for the entire community. And with as a father who has a daughter who competes in high school level field hockey, we have great teams here in Queen Anne's County at both Queen Anne's High School and Kent Island High School. The challenges they face is when they get to the regional levels and the state levels to compete, they're playing on turf. Whereas over here, they're practicing, and a lot of the games they play over here is on Bermuda grass. So it's a little bit slower paced game. And it's tough to make that adjustment. So I know we have a lot of student athletes from soccer to lacrosse to field hockey to football that are excited that we're going to have turf at both our high schools. So I'm excited about it.
Great follow-up question. When the Queen Anne's County High School Lions play the Kent Island High School Bucks in football this year, who wins?
In 2019 or 2020? I mean, this fall
this
coming up.
upcoming season.
Oh,
Queen Anne's got. I tell you, Queen Anne's is their rising juniors are the state champion, the 8th grade state champions from 3 years ago. So I'm going with Queen Anne's.
okay.
Put yours in.
Yeah.
we
So
go.
I'll tell you
Yeah,
what.
let's face it.
I'll tell you what. I just hope that it's a great game. But since you put yourself out there and took Queen Anne's as the Kent Island High School Athletic Boosters former president and current vice president, and a daughter who attends Kent Island High School, I better say the Bucks.
All right. So now we have a $1 friendly bet on this one.
There we go.
Yes, and we'll interview you both after the game.
Okay.
And actually, you said Todd. Do you have an update on the fields? Honestly, because you're here.
Construction as of today.
There you go.
Starting.
Another week and a half, Queen Anne's will be started.
There you go.
There you go. That's
Yeah,
up to
could
the
you-
minute
could you
right there.
repeat
You
that
don't get
for
any
us?
quicker than that.
Yeah, could you repeat that
So
for us?
Kent Island next week, and a week today, and then a week after today. So sometime next week, Queen Anne starts.
So I guess we should go out there and start filming that, right? Yeah, we'll start documenting it. All right, one band for the rest of your life. Who would it be?
AC/DC.
You have to answer because you're not coming to the next one.
One band.
Yes.
One band.
That's tough for you because you're a DJ.
I know it's tough. It is.
you love
I
music,
thought this was
period.
your question. I thought you'd have the answer.
No, I'm not a one band guy. I listen to anything. I'm gonna go old school. I would say I could listen to Led Zeppelin pretty much any hour of any day.
All right. A yeah from George.
I got a yeah from the back there, so that must be good.
Station manager George with the yeah. All right, any questions? You can ask whatever you want. You could ask whatever
Sam, you've got to have
want.
something for us.
I knew it. All right, here we go.
You poke the bear now.
I'm going to change subjects a little bit. We're going to switch over to the watershed implementation plan.
Our WIP plan.
Course.
That's it. We're out of here.
Have you guys gotten the numbers you need to meet by 2000? And do you have any idea how you're going to meet those numbers?
So, nope. But I'll tell you what, I will say, not to put you on the spot, Sam, but it's efforts like yours and the plans that you've put in, along with other farmers in our community, are certainly going to help us reach our goals, for sure.
Only if we
Without a
pay
doubt.
him. I mean, Sam, I work with Sam up here on his project, and it is a phenomenal project. His cost per pound of nitrogen and phosphorus he's taken out is absolutely amazing compared to what much larger organizations in the state are spending to get the same results. The biggest problem I think we've had in working with Sam is from the state level, where they're not recognizing what Sam's doing up here as a best management practice, which it obviously is for anybody that's had the ability to go down there and look at what it's doing and how it works. And honestly, you've been over to 404 since they redid it, right?
Yeah.
So I go over there and I see how they did that cascade system on 404. Yeah. It's really Sam's idea, but it's just not really good. I mean, they should have come and got Sam to actually design it. But,
so perhaps maybe what we need to do is get back out at Sam's farm, and because I know you had done a presentation several years ago when I first served back in 2011. And we were very excited about the commitment that your farm and you had made, and if we could get other farms in the county to do the same thing. But maybe what we need to do, Bruce, is we need to get the crew out there and do another piece on what Sam's doing out at his farm.
And
they've been trying to get this nutrient trading program going for a number of years, and they can't really seem to get it launched. And it seems to me that would be the best way to get farmers more involved, because that would be another way for them to produce income for themselves by reducing nitrogen.
And it's a very environmental way of utilizing land that's not being used right now to actually put productive crops in. It's your swales, it's your areas that are already dead drainage areas, and you just redo them enough to create the cascade system like you did. And like you said, it's money back in the farmer's product. I'm 100% for exactly what Sam's talking about, because I think that when you look at what he's done with his, he does a little over 1,000 acres, I guess, affected where you're at, to the headwaters of the Southeast Creek, which Hamilton Creek, I'm sorry. How much effect that has just in that one creek. And if you're able to do that in all of our headwaters to a lot of our different streams and creeks that feed into the bay, think about how much of that is going to help the bay in the long run as well. So the nutrient trading is all tied to the WIP, which is, again, it's a dart throw. I mean, we as Queen Anne's County, we've done the Southern Kent Island Sewer. We have a huge WIP credit coming, obviously, from that. So.
Yep. The ski project was I don't know what the exactly percent. They say 85% of all percentages are inaccurate. But, I mean, even if we hit 40% of our nitrogen phosphorus reductions with just the ski project alone, we're way ahead of the program when it comes to other counties in the Chesapeake watershed. So great work, Sam.
Thank you.
All right. Coming back.
He can't ask no questions. We already answered questions together a long time ago.
So, Bruce, you have to make sure this gentleman introduces himself.
Like everybody don't know, Joe Gannon from Church Hill. I'm glad you commissioners come up here. It shows that you really care about the north end of the county, which we haven't had for a long time, and I appreciate you both coming up here. My concern is the bond indebtedness for the county. It seems like year after year after year we're going farther and farther in debt. I mean, my grandkids are going to be paying this bond indebtedness. I know you have to fund the capital projects, but I would just love to see 1 year where we didn't bond something.
I don't think you're ever going to get, Joe, to where you don't bond anything.
Exactly.
But, our goal has been, and this year we were the closest we've been in the county in 10 years in getting the bond to where what we paid off is less, or what we bonded is less than what we paid off. So we'd actually be paying against it. And honestly, we've held the bond in check. I mean, when I first came in as commissioner 4 years ago, the prediction was that in our third year we'd be at $150 million. And right now we float around 122. So we've been able to keep it in check. And a lot of that goes with reallocating money that may have been sitting there for other projects that didn't get done, or just not doing a project. Looking at it and saying, you know what, this isn't affordable. This isn't something that we can pay for long term. So we just can't do it right now. That kind of thing.
And that is the mindset that to try to avoid going to the bond market for capital projects. And the commissioner that really drives that is Stevie Wilson. He does a great job in saying, hey guys, wait a minute, is this a need? Is this a want? I mean, so we're fortunate to have Steve on board for sure. Keeps us in check.
We're on the same page with that. Yeah, we would love to see us, bond maybe $5-6 million a year. I mean, we got a detention center coming up that's going to cost us $18-20 million. And we try to balance that with, we don't want to come back with tax hikes, just to pay for a detention center. So it's a tough balance, but yeah, we're on board with that one. That's for sure.
Favorite QAC TV video of all time?
Probably Bruce doing the rap last year at Rams Head for the sink thing. That was pretty quick. See, I had that one.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. I believe
I would have to think that probably the Christmas event that they did at El Jefe's with the camels and the
SantaCon.
donkeys.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
If
Bruce
you-
actually intervied a camel.
If you have not seen that
We should
video
not be
yet,
talking about a Christmas event with camels and donkeys. That does not sound good at any level.
All right, we have a comment from Jen Walters. A huge thank you for passing the ordinance Tuesday evening that helps the local fire volunteers. Even though I'm a Talbot resident now, but a volunteer at Kent Island Volunteer Fire Department, and it's greatly appreciated. Do you guys think that county residents actually know how much is saved by having a volunteer service and not paid departments?
$18 million. There you go.
Easily.
Now they know what it's saved.
Yeah. So all you have to do is kind of take a look at other counties on the other side of the bridge that have paid fire services and what their tax dollars are per hundred of property value, and that'll answer the question. We're very, very lucky and very fortunate that we have such dedicated volunteers, and a lot of them that volunteer are actually career folks on the other side of the bridge that live over here and volunteer at our firehouses. We have great responders, both county employees and our volunteer firefighters. So to do something like what we did last Tuesday is a no-brainer. You take care of the folks that take care of you.
All right, cool. We have another question from Michael Francis. Has anyone looked at the Upper County TIF tax to pay for the last mile of fiber, and the county run it as a utility, or maybe partner with Eastern Utilities for ISPN?
Is that the same guy that films us at the commissioner meetings? I just want to know.
I'm sorry, I should have called it. That's
a plant question if I've ever heard one.
Tiffany Francis.
Oh, Tiffany Francis.
I misread it.
Is he talking about a TIF, though? Because there is a TIF. Is that the question about
Yes.
a TIF? Oh,
Yes.
It'd be very hard to do a TIF that broadly because a TIF is really based on growth. Because we're looking at the one in Kent Island, at the Narrows right now, and that's based on the growth and the overall tax increase based on the improvements that you're going to see. I don't know that the return on investment with a TIF for broadband last mile, whether you would ever meet those return on investment numbers for individual homes, because what happens if somebody doesn't, you don't get the people sign up for it? Maybe you only get a 40% take rate when people sign up. Well, then that's going to skew the return on investment that you're looking for a TIF. So I would certainly look at it if Mike's got an idea to do it. I would certainly look at it, but from what I know about a TIF, I don't know that would be a great fit for it.
Agree. No. Yeah.
Okay.
It's that last mile again. It's that last mile that is going to be the thorn in our sides.
All right. Today was actually an important day. Could you tell the folks about how we are moving to a new courthouse?
Yeah, there were some emails that came out to us about officially using our new courthouse.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. It's a ribbon cutting.
I thought you were going to say it's an important day because it was Flag Day.
Flag Day. It's absolutely Flag Day. That's right.
Well, that's probably what you meant, right? Bruce?
Well,
that's what you meant.
You took your tie off, and I'm very disappointed about this Flag Day.
Right.
thing.
Yeah, I wore my flag tie today. Yeah.
I liked it. I thought you were going to
Yes,
wear it out here.
June 17th, I believe, is the official courthouse opening day that they're actually going to be doing business in the courthouse. So. That's right. We got the former clerk of the court. We have a good guy here to talk about it.
We had a plan for that question.
And a follow-up to that.
Yep. Let me come around.
I'd like to commend you, the commissioners, and previous commissioners for taking this project on, and especially our county administrator, who was the head of the Department of Public Works for the Public Works, did a fantastic job of that building. And I saw some communications, but Queen Anne's County should be very proud because we now have the very first fully electronic courthouse in the state of Maryland. We were the oldest courthouse still in continuous use, but now we're
Now we're jumping up
newest.
to that technology thing.
Right.
We're trying to get ahead.
And talking about the old courthouse, that
You got
might
him
be-
going, Bruce.
That might be some food for thought there. I would challenge the commissioners to maybe consider moving the Register of Wills and the Orphans Court into the old courthouse, maintain the ambiance, and also the fact it's the oldest courthouse still in continuous use, and that would free up space in the Liberty Building also. But the Orphans Court usually uses the courtroom one day a week. You've got a fantastic courtroom.
Then maybe North County
right
Commissioner
there.
can have an office somewhere.
Yeah.
Right.
But you don't
but
have
thank
one, huh?
you.
North County Commissioners does not have an office.
You know where it should be. Nana Maria's.
Nana Maria's.
Nana Maria's.
Number 10, you hit it. You hit the magic number.
I think you're at 10.
That's 10.
All right, we nailed it. All right, any more questions while we're out here? All right, we have another one right here. All right.
I overheard you people talking while we were waiting for this about dredging, and I'm curious as to where they're dredging.
The Narrows.
Yeah. Yep, the Narrows. Well, actually, they completed it. They completed the dredging of the Narrows. The north end coming in to the Narrows, Parks and Recs and Steve Chanlis ran that program. So, yep.
Yeah, that shoals up really bad in there. I mean, it only takes a few years for it to shoal up really bad. So we're kind of on a program. And actually, I think Commissioner Moran is questioning and trying to look at other ways that the Army Corps or whoever could figure out maybe some breakwaters to try to prohibit some of that shoaling on the
infill,
entrance
right,
area.
Biggest challenge is the spoils. What do you do with the spoils? Sam's Farm.
He don't need any more fertilizer. He's pulling plenty out from the neighbors right now, so he's good.
All right, guys, favorite place to watch the fireworks?
Kent Narrows.
More specifically, Kent Island Yacht Club.
It's the other side, right? So actually, a PSA on that, because
Yes.
I know there was some information that was put out, and I think in air, because of the dredging, so with great segue, because of the dredging, we were going to have the fireworks on the yacht club side because it was going to be unavailable on the narrow side, but that has now changed. The fireworks will be shot off on the narrow side, the Chester River side. So for all of you that thought being
July
on the other
2nd.
side was, and it is July 2nd, and rain date is July 3rd. Did we get that in right, Leslie? Good. All right.
So we'll be by the Visitor Center,
Yep.
July 2nd.
Actually, the Chesapeake Exploration Center, where I have an office.
Phil's got an office. Him and
Nana
Chris.
Maria's.
Nana Maria's.
Nana Maria's. And also, you can enjoy fireworks on June 30th at Centerville, where they're going to have the Family Fun event. So you actually have 2 chances in Queen Anne's County to enjoy the fireworks this year. So make sure you do both. Because
And actually 3, because this year, for the first time, we are funding Sudlersville's Labor Day fireworks.
Oh, wow.
Well, we put in the same stipend we do for Sudlersville, Centerville, and all that for, Queenstown, I'm sorry. Queenstown's Labor Day, right?
Yep.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Great. Yep. See? Breaking news. That's why we have you guys. All right. Last chance for questions while we're out here.
Chocolate chip cookies. In case you guys were going to
Now,
ask.
I was going to come around. I know you like the questions. I'm just going to make it the last
Sorry,
question.
Bruce.
What's your favorite cookie?
Chocolate chip.
I know you like this chocolate chip. Have you changed?
Nope.
Was it chocolate chip? I do. Okay. It's always chocolate chip with these people. All right. So thank you for watching. If I
Bruce, what's your favorite cookie?
What's my favorite cookie?
Yeah.
I don't eat cookies. You believe that?
So you ask
No.
everybody else,
I ask
but you don't
everyone what
have a
their favorite cookie is.
What's
but
your
I don't
favorite
know.
movie?
What's my Princess Bride?
Favorite Queen Anne's County TV?
Yeah.
Favorite Queen Anne's County TV video?
Of all time?
Yeah.
Probably one of my first ones. I went tanning, and it was just because I really realized that I could kind of get away with a lot of stuff here, and you guys loved it.
All right.
Kings of Leon. See,
Very
I'm ready.
eclectic.
Yeah,
Very
I'm-
nice.
Princess
Very nice.
Bride.
yeah, favorite movie. I've watched it at least like 100 times. All
He
time.
imagines himself as that Carrie Elways character, kind of,
Right.
you know.
I do.
My name is Antonio Montoya.
Inigo.
You killed my father.
Inigo.
Prepare to die.
There you go. That's very good.
Yes. We are really getting off the rails here.
Impressions are free. That just comes with it.
Uh-oh. Hold on. We got... Are we going to be able...
Take Phil's mic away? Is that what it
Yes,
says?
yes, get them out of here. All right, one really quick one from Megan Newcomb. Are we going to be able to put cameras on the buses?
Yes.
Yes.
That was quick. Because they already do have cameras, right?
Well, they have them on the buses, what we're looking at, and we introduced
the-
the ordinance.
Right. We'll have the hearing
Outside.
Right.
No, coming up 25th.
Yeah,
decide on
25th
that.
we'll have the hearing, and then 2 weeks later we'll take the vote on it. But yes, right now the conversational consensus is yes, there will be cameras on the buses come September for the kids to protect the drivers and to get the people who decide they're not going to stop when that big red flashing stop sign comes out and those big bars come out. They will now be they're going to
Issued
get
a
a friendly visit.
citation, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to send them a letter from the county sheriff's office, right? Or
Yep.
So
These are very nice letters to receive,
they are.
too. You'll
They
love
really
them.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. Do you know what is coming up next? Who are the next round of?
So, my understanding, the location's kind of in question,
Right.
but it's going to be Commissioner Steve Wilson and myself.
Yes.
Right.
We're not sure where the location is going to be yet. It's kind of undetermined. So we'll go to be determined.
But it's going to be your call, right?
Yeah, I think
Yes,
we'll
It's
make it my
gonna be,
call.
yeah. We'll let you.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So I guess to look ahead, though, I mean, I think Stevie's kind of talked because he's the District 2. He was thinking that the Department of Emergency Service. So now to put you on the spot, District 3, you'll eventually have to call where that one's going to be, even though you may not be the host for it. But where would you like to see it in District 3, just out of curiosity?
Well, District 3 encompasses the Narrows, so
That's what I'm
lots
saying.
of
I'm putting you on the
choices down
spot right now.
Lots of choices down there, and we'll just
You're
go
going to go
with-
TBD?
Yeah, TBD, to be determined.
So get your bids in now
Yes.
for the Ask a Commissioner.
Phil's not for sale.
So we had a great time. Thank you for coming out. Thank everyone for coming out.
Yep, folks
Yes,
of
we had a
North
good
County,
time.
thank you very much for
Thank you,
coming
North
out.
County. Thank you, Nana Maria's.
Thank you, Nana Maria.
If any question accidentally got missed, just send it in. We'll make sure it gets answered. But we'll see you guys next time. Nana Maria's.
Nana Maria's.
Because we're an overachiever here.